afternoon, everybody. My name is Jordan Hall, bringing you the Channel 7 News, where we go in depth on situations around the world. Although today is not an average news day for us folks, we're going back to the Second World War. That's right, you heard it. We're going back in time to the events that occurred in the Battle of Britain. Now here's Nathan Bronson going back in time to November 1st, 1940, just one day after the battle ended.
Okay. Hello everybody, my name is Nathan Bronson, and let me say I'm glad that you're with the Channel 7 News for another afternoon. And as you can see, I just went back in time to the Battle of Britain. Look at that terrible ruin from the war. Now right above us was the battle fought in England for the air. Thousands of pilots shot others down, and did it all again the next day. The Royal Air Force acted as a shield for Britain in the hopes of keeping Germany away. Now, following the fall of France caused by the Luftwaffe, Great Britain was left exposed to the German army as Germany had control over the ports in France only a few miles across the English Channel. Germany had no plans to invade Britain, however. Instead, Hitler relied on the British government agreeing to make peace on favorable terms he had planned to offer them. Hitler had believed that war was over, but Churchill still wanted a war even though it had seemed that Britain had no hope of winning. It wasn't until July 2nd that Hitler had even considered invading England, because it did not seem necessary since they couldn't cause any harm to him with their military situation.
On July 16th, Hitler ordered the preparations of Operation Sea Lion. He figured the operation would be ready to go by mid-August. Operation Sea Lion was planned after Britain had rejected Germany's final peace negotiation, and they thought it would be smart to take out the British Army while they're still recovering from the losses inside of France. The plan was to take out the Royal Air Force and gain possession over the English Channel and control the sky in southern England. German soldiers would invade England from the south, allowing their navy to provide protection. London would have to be kept untouched until resistance in the rest of Britain was shut down. Because Luftwaffe had failed to take the air in Battle of Britain, Hitler postponed Operation Sea Lion indefinitely.
Germany was not in any way prepared for an unexpected undertaking. Troops had little training and no training for landing operations. No landing craft had been built for that reason, as they did not see it as a necessity. All they could do was bring barges from Germany and the Netherlands to give the troops practice on embarkation and disembarkation. Generals were apprehensive of risks the forces would run into while crossing the sea. German admirals had no confidence in their forces, so they put all their faith in the Luftwaffe's hands. Hermann Göring was quite confident in his forces, however, and assured the German Navy that they would drive out the RAF and check British naval interference. The invasion was postponed to mid-September. And now we will be interrupting your daily news broadcast with an advertisement by some no-name company you have never heard of. Let me ask you something. Have you ever wanted to see into the future and watch the planes armed with deadly weapons come towards you? Well, look no further than our product. I present to you Radar. Radar allows you to look beyond the clouds and spark light on what the naked eye cannot. With Radar, you can see these really cool dots on a big green spinny thingy and do nothing else with it. But you definitely need this product, as it could save your life when the air attacks do come. Now, I want this to be clear. I invented Radar. This Sir Robert Watson Watt fellow, he's a fraud. He totally stole my idea. I had the idea first, but I let him copy my homework for physics, and then his dog ate my papers. Anyways, back to the topic at hand. Radar was invented in 1931 by me, but Robert invented it in 1935. In 1939, radar was established all across the East Coast in things called radar stations. Cool name, guys. I bet I could have done better. I would have called them Zorbigs or something sick like that. Now listen here. Buy Radar. It'll save you. Trust me. Now back to the news.
Terribly sorry about that, folks. We had a technical difficulty right there. I hope you viewers are still at home with us. When Britain declared war on Germany on September 3rd, 1939, the British weren't fully done prepping their Royal Air Force. Britain was too focused on attacks on Germany that they weren't thinking that Germany would attack them. Britain was short of recruits for the Royal Air Force. Luckily, Ottawa sent Canadian pilots to help with the situation. 1,800 strong and free Canadians served in the British Air Force during the war. The invasion of Germany into the Netherlands, France, and Belgium brought heavy conflict between Royal Air Force and Luftwaffe on May 10, 1940. The factors leading up to the Battle of Britain were German bomber attacks on British shipping, and leading into August air attacks on convoys and ports were racking up. On August 13th, the main offensive Eagle attack was set in motion. The offensive was set to target air bases, factories, and radar stations in southern England in an attempt to weaken British air defenses. The British Army still had the upper hand with the help of the radar. Radar allowed Britain to track and find incoming German warplanes so they could have sufficient time to send out a counterforce before they hit. Now let's take to me, but on another frame.
You good?
Okay. Hello, I'm sitting across from John McDean. He served as one of the Royal Air Force pilots that fought in the Battle of Britain in the air. Can you tell me your experience during the war?
I'm not even sure where to start with that. Every morning, me and the rest of the pilots woke up early and were taken to our planes. When the forces were told that enemy planes were spotted, we scrambled to intercept them. I became an ace along with some other guys in my squad.
Can you tell us exactly what an ace is?
Oh yes, an ace is when you're very skilled as a pilot and you defeat at least 5 enemy pilots. There were some very scary skilled pilots out there, and I'm glad I wasn't taken.
So how exactly did the battle in the air go?
Well, to be honest, the German Air Force was a difficult enemy to deal with. We might have lost more battles with the Luftwaffe than we won. You had to think very quickly when in a dogfight with someone because one wrong move and that's it. Soldiers were able to make emergency landings or deploy their parachute to bail, but many pilots weren't given those options.
That must be very scary being seconds away from potential death. Can you tell me what plane you flew in the air?
I flew one of the most dominant planes of the war. It was called the Supermarine Spitfire. It was a single-seater plane. I called her Hell Beast, and she would rip 600 kilometers up there.
Incredible. Were there any other planes used?
Yes, there was also the Hawker Hurricane. A couple guys in my squadron used it. I wouldn't say it's better than my Hell Beast because it's a little slower and a bit older. There's also a German fighter plane, Messerschmitt. Not too sure I said that right.
Well, thank you for your time, sir. Thank you very much for your services to the war. Channel 7, back to you. Right, and here is the in-progress map that Nathan and I worked so very hard on. So, Germany won the battle for France in June 25th, 1940, right here. So they now had control over ports across from Great Britain, right in there, which is a couple miles away. Finally, on July 16th, 1940, Operation Sea Lion began preparation because Churchill didn't choose to make peace with Hitler. So that was still going on over there. Tensions grew between the Royal Air Force and Luftwaffe in May of 1940 because of the German invasion of the Netherlands, France, and Belgium. So they've been fighting all along to here. On August 13th, 1940, Eagle attack has began aiming to weaken the British defense system. The greatest day to Britain and Black Thursday to the Luftwaffe happened on August 15th, 1940. Royal Air Force sent 974 sorties, but the Luftwaffe sent 1,786. Germany lost 75 planes to every Royal Air Force 30. It was a huge loss for the Luftwaffe. On August 19th, Germany began attacking Britain's factories, all in there. You could see all those attacking barrages. All right. On August 23rd, bombs were dropped over the residential areas in London. Fighter Command suffered its heaviest losses. Debden Airfield was hit by 100 bombs. 6 out of the 7 main bases in southeast England had been heavily damaged on the 31st of August. Mass attacks on London, big cities, aircraft factories, and other strategic targets. Nearly 400 bombers, more than 600 fighters targeted the docks in the east end of London on September 7th. On October 29th, 5 raids were planned. One headed for London and was engaged at 11 a.m. A second was intercepted and 12 fighter bombers were shot down. 3 raids with 112 bombers attacked Portsmouth. On October 31st, bombing of London continued and would for several years. However, this day is technically the final day of the Battle of Britain, and October was the month that regular bombing of Britain had stopped. Well, thank you everybody for tuning into Channel 7 News, where we go in depth on situations around the world and through time.
Thank you for watching.